Please be seated.
I guess stand up to say.
Today's meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order on September 25th. Welcome. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Be seated. Agendas of today's meeting are on the wall at the entrance to the chambers. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. The Municipal Code Enforcement Board consists of 7 members who are appointed by the City Council, and we serve voluntarily. It is this board's intention to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Clearwater by providing this equitable, effective, and inexpensive method in enforcing certain codes within the city. The board considers new business items in 2 parts. First, a violation, then affirmative relief. Formal rules of evidence do not apply. Each side is limited to 15 minutes, but the board may grant additional time. All proceedings will be conducted in a calm, civil manner. Individuals who conduct themselves otherwise will be asked to leave, and if necessary, they will be escorted from the chambers. Now I ask all who plan to speak to please rise and be sworn in by the clerk.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony?
Michael, need a pen?
Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of last month's meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Is there anyone here to speak to items not on the agenda? Yes.
Yes. Board, I'd like to take this opportunity, of course, I'll introduce myself to Ken Pieslek, Code Compliance Manager with the city, but I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our newest Code Enforcement Inspector, Ryan Odegaard, and welcome him to this great team.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Okay, new business item. Okay, new business items. Items 4.1, case 9419.
Madam Chairman, 4.1's been withdrawn.
Thank you. Okay, 4.2, case 15419. Fine respondents Peter J. Nichols at 614 South Missouri Avenue in violation of code for sign maintenance and business tax receipt, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if not complete.
Board, we were requesting a declaration of violation for sign maintenance, but the business tax receipt violation is still in violation.
Okay. Is Mr. Nichols here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll do the declaration.
Is this the gentleman, are you, is he the
Okay.
gentleman?
Yes.
Okay,
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion on the first part.
Okay.
Okay.
just one motion,
What's that?
just one motion.
Yeah, just one.
This is
well,
a declaration.
Yeah, on the first part. The first part is the sign. Right. I moved to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay.
Just a moment.
It's a business tax receipt, right?
Great. Okay, pause for a moment, please. We don't seem to be able to open with PowerPoint here right now. Do we need to add PowerPoint to this new computer? not getting that choice. Probably when you just need to add on, I guess. It's not on this computer.
Hey, Nicole, could we have that powered?
That isn't working.
It's not working.
Oh,
That
bummer.
number is not working.
Is that why the dollar's there?
I don't know why the dollar's there. Oh, sorry.
I think that's a hint from the council.
A repair fund.
Oh, you can't see it.
Or you can get the bucket and fix it. Mikey can do it.
Okay, there's part A.
Why did you do that? Huh? Why did you do that? Or you needed it to you.
About 3 weeks ago.
You gotta come up with something new next month.
Pardon?
It's gonna be a long day.
Something new next month.
You think?
Oh, thanks.
What'd you bring for supper?
Pizza.
Actually, it's more than 3 weeks.
Is it out in the car?
Because I couldn't walk at all from the beginning. Now I can.
I thought I'd see more
First
people.
was
Me
walking.
too.
Section 7.
Now it's walking again. You know what? Oh, wait,
Complaints. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Sure where it went? Was there?
So do we have a
Been down,
PowerPoint installed
yeah,
on
absolutely.
that?
Well, the only issue is my case was here and it's not here anymore.
A lot of cases.
Ah, that's fun. Okay, I've got a,
With their heads. Be done.
you seeing it?
No.
I've got a zip drive, it'll take a while to install it, but I don't know.
I mean, I have the pages, we can go off of that with the pictures off of Elmo. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to. Let's see it. Yeah, it was there.
Okay. All right, change of plans.
At least for this presentation.
Excellent.
Mr. Knight,
Yes, ma'am.
let me ask Mr. Nichols a question.
Absolutely.
Do you admit or deny the business tax receipt issue?
Yeah.
You admit?
She wants to know if you admit or deny that the business tax receipt is a violation, that you're in violation
Oh,
of it.
yes, I did know though it was a violation. Because I had the name for the last 40 years, and I ended up the new dealership, and I thought automatically was okay, but I didn't know, but I'm willing to take care of it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Business.
Wait a minute. Would you have a seat then, please?
Business.
Or are you gonna just do it?
Just do the first motion.
The first motion on the tax.
Okay, go ahead.
I move to find respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Might have to take a recess for a few minutes.
You wanna finish this one or do?
Why don't we finish this one and then we can do a recess since there was an admission.
Sorry for the delay, everybody. We're just trying to get everybody
That's
up to
okay.
speed on here, okay?
That's all right.
Sorry, Daniel.
Well, you don't, you can go ahead, kid.
It's just not showing.
Oh,
That-
I'm sorry. I thought you took their paper. We're good.
There.
All right. Daniel Knight, sign inspector for the city. This is case 154-19 for 614 South Missouri Avenue. There is just the one violation, and the city is for the zoning violation of BTR required. The city is asking compliance on or before October 25th of 2019, or a fine of $150 per day. We are asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months of the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies under the law. And compliance can be met for the zoning violation of BTR being required by applying and applying for and obtaining a business tax receipt for the business of Vespa Clearwater, or by removing all advertisements from the property for Vespa Clearwater. Just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, over on Missouri, if we see this sign, we have a business, we have a BTR for renting cars and motorcycles, but it is advertising for Vespa Clearwater, which Vespa Clearwater does not have a business tax receipt for the city. So, gentleman is trying to get that added to his SunViz account through the state, and if that happens, we'll add it to the current BTR and everything will be good.
So Rent-A-Car has the license?
Yes.
Has a BTR, but Vespa doesn't? Got it.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, that's no big deal.
Would you like to see any other photos or any other questions for me?
I think so.
That's no big deal.
Mr. Nichols, do you understand that you need to get your business tax receipt?
Yes, I already started the paperwork.
Okay.
Had to put your DBA is Vespa Clearwater.
Good.
And you have 30 days.
30 days.
It
Okay.
will be done.
I'll make a second motion on the tax receipt. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violation on or before October 25th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of up to $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Do you need a recess?
Let me just, give us a moment here, let's make sure it's all
Okay.
up to speed. Okay, I think we're gonna be in business. Excellent.
Also, this screen here, I don't believe is
It's
Correct.
broken. It hasn't worked for a couple weeks.
oh.
Okay, so whoever's up next can come.
Item 4.3.
Right, I agree.
Can we go on? Case 15519, find the respondents Waffle House, Inc. at 2510 Sunset Point Road in violation of code for temporary signs and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
Compliance has been met for the sidewalk sign violation, and the city is seeking a declaration of violation.
Okay.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit. In this case, the violation was corrected prior to today's hearing and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Case 156-19, find respondents R.L. Wexford I Limited Partnership, R.L. Countryside LLC, G.L. Countryside LLC, and R.B. Countryside LLC at 2524 Alexander Place in violation of code for temporary signs and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Would you say your name and address for the record?
Jen Rosico, 2524 Alexander Place. I'm the property manager.
Would you spell your last name, please?
R as in Robert, Z as in zebra, ESUTKO.
She was here last month.
Do you admit or deny?
I didn't know, so I guess, yeah.
Weren't you here last month? Oh, this is your first time? Okay, I'm sorry. So you admit?
So you admit?
And if we could get the addresses changed on these notices, is that possible? Because I'm getting it from the owners who are out of state, or they're not their own property.
They're sent to what the property appraiser has on file.
You can't forward it to me, that's on the property? Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, at least, I know.
Not from me, no.
Okay, if you'll have a seat, Mr. Knight.
First motion.
Yeah.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
Wait. She didn't admit. She said,
She said, yeah,
Yeah,
I
she
guess.
said, she admitted.
she said you didn't know.
No, she said she admits if it helps get the paperwork to her.
I mean, the signs
Admitted.
Okay.
now they're down.
I'm sorry, who made the motion? Okay,
did.
thanks.
Robert seconded.
I did.
Okay, thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Hello, Board. Daniel Knight, Sign Inspector with the city. This is case 156-19 for 2524 Alexander Place. The violation is for temporary signs. The city is asking for compliance on or before October 9th of 2019, which is 2 weeks, or a fine of $150 per day that the violation exists. We are asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months of the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies under the law. Compliance can be met for temporary signs by removing the oversized sign structure erected at the property and refraining from re-erecting any other temporary signs at the property unless all the criteria and limitations presented in Table 3-1806 1B can be followed. This is the sign that we are speaking to. This was on 5/2 of this year. And then on 7/1 the sign came down, but the structure still remains. The definition of a sign includes the sign structure. And then on 5/15 the sign went back up in a state of disrepair. And then on 9/19 the structure still remains. And then this was just again yesterday, the structure is still there.
Okay.
And for the record, I would like to state that all the notices that I sent out were signed and received by the property owner. I did get the certified mail receipt back signed. So the property owner was aware of these violations.
So how many property owners are there? 3?
Looks like 4 or 3.
Looks like a limited partnership with a RL
4.
Countryside LLC, GL Countryside LLC, RB Countryside LLC. So 1, 2, 3, 4 with the partnership.
Okay, so you sent out 4 notices.
I sent out, yes, and I
Okay.
received the certified mail receipt back.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Knight, in order to comply, they need to take the structure down, is that it?
Yes, and then abide by the temporary sign ordinance, the 3-1806 1B for any future temporary signs that they want to erect at a residential zone property.
Okay, if you come forward. Do you understand that you have until October 9th?
Yes, I just knew about the structure today, so I'll go ahead and get that taken down today.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
I'll make a second.
Okay,
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before October 9th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If
Second.
fines,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So that's not a big deal. Just get that taken care of.
Now that I know. We'll get it taken care of, thank you.
Thank you.
Two.
Okay, here we go. Item 4.5, case 157-19. 5 respondents, L. Amir Land Trust, Ding Tarek Zine E. Trey, at 2099 North Island Avenue, in violation of code for prohibited signage, and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Are they here?
Compliance has been met for the feather sign violation, and the city is seeking a declaration of violation.
Okay,
I move to find that respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Item 4.6, case 158-19, 5 respondents DML Realty at 2030 Drew Street in violation of code for sign maintenance, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
The sign maintenance violation has been corrected and the city is seeking a declaration of violation for this
Okay.
case.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4.7, case 15919. Find respondent Stars Cleaners of Tampa Bay, Inc. at 19080 U.S. Highway 19 North in violation of code for business tax receipt, and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
Yeah, how you doing? I'm Leo Reyna, small business owner.
Spell your last name.
Reina.
Thank you.
Do you admit or deny?
That's a good question. I deny, but I have an argument against it.
Okay.
So I'm here today, I guess, because I have a dry cleaning business, and to subsidize income, we started renting U-Hauls. We put trucks on the property, found out trucks weren't allowed to be on the property. We removed them. Now we're just online booking, and I'm told I can't even work online. So, again, I don't think we're in Cuba. I can't use the online to make money. I think it's a little ridiculous, but,
I have a question if I may. This is this is a cleaning business?
Yeah, I own the property.
These trucks that are on there, are they for the cleaning business?
No, they're not there no
They're
more.
rentals.
We put them on to subsidize income. Found out we can't have them on the property. Got them removed. But we're just doing online reservations. And now I'm told I can't even use my phone and internet to make money.
Okay.
Okay, so your cleaning business, is that like clothing you clean?
Dry cleaners.
Dry
yes.
cleaning, okay. So you have a business tax receipt for that business?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And the trucks are not on that property?
No. Yeah, inspector's here. I was told to remove them. I removed them. I got with my rep. I told him that I'm now not allowed to have them on the property because of the code. So he said, all right, you want to still make money, do online booking? I said, again, I'm trying to make money, and now I'm told I can't
Okay.
So
even.
the violation is it says you do not have a tax receipt, but you say you do?
Well, I have a tax receipt for
The
a cleaning business.
cleaning business, but not the other.
I went to go get a tax receipt for the U-Haul, but they said they wouldn't issue me.
But it doesn't say anything on here about truck rentals.
If I may,
Yes.
I can go through the PowerPoint and
Liz.
maybe we can explain.
Okay, if you'll have a seat, we'll, I don't get it.
All right, Daniel Knight again, sign inspector for the city. This is case 159-19 for 19080 US Highway 19. There's one violation at the property, and it's for code section 29-31 and 1-104B, which is a zoning violation for a BTR being required. Notice of violation was sent out on 1/30 of 2019 and on 7/11 of 2019, with respective compliance dates of 3/3/19 and 7/31 of 19. I did do an affidavit of posting on 7/11 of 2019 with the notice of violation at the property. All right, on January 29th, this was the first inspection date. We had a sign out that was advertising for U-Haul, renting the trucks and the trailers. After there were some other violations, this property came in front of the board last month for exterior surfaces. The sign came down, but I did not realize that they still had this U-Haul box for the key drop-off located at the property. When I went back for other re-inspections, I noticed this along with the U-Hauls back at the property. So after they received the notice and were told that it couldn't be there, they did remove everything plus the sign, but then the U-Hauls came back and that key box was still erected there. On 8/15, the key box is still erected at the property, so you could rent the vehicle, drop the key off if no one's there. And then this was on 9/13. Trucks are gone. There's no advertisement. The key box is gone. The issue that the city has is that if You Google this address, 19080 US Highway 19 Clearwater, it comes up as U-Haul Neighborhood Dealer, where you can rent U-Hauls. You can click on the website, I've done it, it shows, if you want to pick it up there, and they may be out of stock, but if you're willing to wait. So they are still actively advertising for a U-Haul business, which does not have a business tax receipt for this property. Gentleman did come in to try and obtain a business tax receipt for the U-Haul business. Unfortunately, this parcel is not, it doesn't have the use to do that. So he'd have to apply with the city to change the use in order to rent out vehicles there. And
Question, where are the vehicles now?
I don't know. But they were not at this property.
It sounds like he's renting them out at this business, but they're dropping them off somewhere else.
And that may be the case, but if he's wanting to utilize,
Okay, let me finish.
if he's wanting to utilize, advertisement, it needs to be wherever his physical business is going to be, which can't be at 19080 US Highway 19 unless he wants to change the use of the property.
Okay, so what you're saying is he is conducting a rental business for vehicles from that location?
Correct.
Okay.
I have a question. I understand exactly what you just clarified that, but this language right here does not say that at all. On this agenda, it looks like he doesn't have a license for his Star Cleaners of Tampa Bay. It doesn't say anything about trucks, doesn't say anything about a lockbox.
Do you have,
Or you
if you look at the notice of violation,
But I can only go from what's on my agenda.
That's true, but we can offer into evidence the notice.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see that.
It should be, yeah, it should be on your.
On the computer.
I can't, did you find it?
That would be in the computer?
Yes.
I've been trying, all I just found was.
I'm still an old.
I have it right here in front of me, and in this specifically, it does specifically speak to the U-Haul business.
I take that back. I just didn't see it, and I was just going by your language that's in front of me. So I understand now. You cleared it up. Thank you.
So how can he come into compliance?
He would either need to apply for and change the use of the property to allow that business to be there and obtain a business tax receipt to do so, or stop advertising that a U-Haul business is being conducted at the property.
If he was able to make that change, that use change, then would be able to put the trucks on that property?
Correct. But he's gonna, it's a lengthy process to change the use of a property.
Right, that's what I was told, so that's why we took all the trucks off and now we're just online reservation.
Does that include online too, Daniel, as well?
Yes. I mean, right here is proof that you can go to 19080 US Highway 19 for this U-Haul neighborhood dealership.
Okay.
May I ask a couple clarifying questions?
Certainly.
And Inspector, I have your notice of violation here. And the sections that you cite, which I saw were on your presentation, were for 1-104B, and you call it a zoning violation, and then 29.3-1. That's correct?
Correct.
Okay. And is the reason that you cited those particular code sections is because it is a zoning violation to use a property without a BTR?
Correct.
And it is your understanding that this gentleman will not get a BTR, or whoever happens to be renting those U-Hauls on his property will not get a BTR unless there's a land use change to the particular property that Stars Cleaners of Tampa Bay, Inc. owns.
Correct.
And technically, there's 2 violations here. I mean, if you want to stretch it out. Not that.
For the zoning and the BTR?
Yeah.
They were on one
Well, you said the
violation.
lockbox was still on there.
Okay.
The lockbox did come off, so
Oh,
the
okay.
only thing that's still in violation currently is the advertisement of U-Haul business at the property.
Okay.
Online.
Okay.
I see the picture now. Yeah.
Okay, going the wrong way. I will let you deliberate, sorry.
Do you understand what the situation is?
Yeah, no, I understand, and that's why I removed all the trucks but I still can't believe I can't, from the phone and from internet, conduct reservation, you know?
Well, if you can find a way for them to drop the keys off over
They-
the
but
internet,
there
then
is
you
no,
might have a case.
there's no even keys. That's, you guys keep saying keys, there's no keys. Well, you call and you say, I need a truck for tomorrow. We type it in the computer and they go pick it up at the nearest U-Haul, near that.
Okay,
And I come to my location.
as long as U-Haul is not connected with your address out there, is that correct? You need to take it off your address.
So if I put my home address, you know, again,
Just to clarify that, wherever, as long as it's within the city limits, wherever you're wanting to conduct that business needs to have a business tax receipt for that business that you're trying to conduct.
Even online.
even online.
Well, you know, it's a business, man.
What was that?
It's a business and you have to have that receipt.
Oh, yeah, and I went to the city I don't mind getting the tax, you know, but it's just, you know,
Yeah.
what address do I put if I just want to work out of my computer, you know? Is there an open, you know, it sounds to me like, you know,
You would have to find a location that's zoned for that.
so I'd have to buy a location.
Your problem is you're not
Just
in the right zone.
I know, but
Is it possible that he's classifying his business in the wrong way? That's something he has to figure out.
Right, and I'm not up to par with all the different business tax receipt categories, but there may be a possibility where it's online use from your home. But I can't.
yeah, and when I called the dealership, you know, the U-Haul dealer, and I said, I'm going to hearing, and he says, I don't, you know, again, you don't rent U-Hauls from your location no more. You're just an online booking agent, you know. I said, I understand, but, you know, that's why I'm here today, just to, you know, again, trying to make money, you know, small business, and
It'd be worth checking into. You might find a way.
I'm gonna make a first motion,
Okay,
and then we'll get this thing rolling. First motion, I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And then we'll hear the recommendation.
For case 159-19, for the one violation of zoning violation of BTR being required, the city is asking compliance on or before October 25th of 2019, or a fine of $150 per day that the violation exists. We are asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, and settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies under the law. Compliance can be met for the zoning violation of BTR being required by removing all advertisements from the property and the internet for the U-Haul business being operated at that property, or by changing the use of the property and applying for and obtaining a business tax receipt for the business to operate there at the property.
Just get another location.
If I may ask one more
Certainly.
clarifying question. Inspector, if the gentleman needed to know how to change the use designation on his property, would it be advisable to go to the Planning Developments Department's zoning division?
This is correct.
And that is located where?
At 100 South Myrtle, second floor.
Now he knows.
I would definitely do that. That
yeah, I'm
could
gonna
probably help
follow
you.
up to see,
Yeah.
Thank you,
know,
Daniel.
what's involved.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, second motion, I'll finish it up. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before October 25th, 2019 per day. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Yes. That's something.
Okay, item 4.9, case 16119, find respondents John and Melanie Palm at 1936 Overbrook Avenue in violation of code for short-term rental and residential rental business tax receipt, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
That was withdrawn.
No, it wasn't. It's yours.
Madam Chair, I do not believe there's anyone here, and this will be a declaration of violation.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Yes.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4.10, case 16219, find respondents Allison V. Thompson at 2271 Spring Rain Drive in violation of code for short-term rental and residential business tax receipt, and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
Madam Chair, this will also be a declaration.
Okay?
On both?
Yes.
Yeah.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4.11, case 16319, find respondents Paul Ashley Perkins and Gail Barbara Turville at 2825 Chancery Lane in violation of code for short-term rental and residential rental business tax receipt, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Are they here?
I'm going to assume they're not.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So my name is Julie Phillips, Inspecting Specialist for the City of Clearwater, and my recommendation for case 16319 located at 2825 Chancery Lane, there are two violations. One is for an illegal short-term rental and a business tax receipt required. I'm requesting compliance on or before October 10th, 2019, or a fine of $250 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist. We are asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance can be met for the illegal short-term rental by renting the property for at least 31 days or 1 calendar month, removing all daily and weekly rental rates, reviews, and discounts. In addition to that, all websites and calendars should reflect the 31-day or 1 calendar month requirement. Compliance can be met for the residential rental business tax receipt by filling out a residential rental application and paying the required fee. This location is located just north of the Soul Cemetery located on Sunset Point Road. They're advertised on the homeaway.com website. They are renting their home for a minimum of 3 nights. 3 nights better for your viewing. You can see the inconsistency with the calendars. Obviously, July is not booked for 31 days or 1 calendar month, and these photos were taken on July 6th. And I did try to book the property from October 5th to the 12th for 7 nights and was successful in doing so. I also talked to the property owner who did call me, who's out of town, and stated she was not aware that she could not rent. Neighbors tell otherwise, but she said she is on her way back and she plans on bringing it into compliance.
Okay.
I'll make a second motion. I move to enter an order that a fine of $250 per day. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Be helpful to read the right one. Second motion. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before October 10th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may enter a fine of $250 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay.
Okay.
Item 4.12, case 16419, Ruth M. Serralo as personal representative of the state of Ruth Serralo at 1100 South Myrtle Avenue in violation of code for exterior surfaces, roof maintenance, abandoned building, and lot clearing, and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Dixon.
There's somebody here for this case.
Okay. Hi. Do you admit or deny?
Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
My name is Renee Russell. I'm the personal representative of Ruth Sorello. She deceased on July 19th, 2018.
Okay.
And
I'm
sorry.
Do you admit or deny the allegations?
I admit.
Okay.
That there are two. Yes, there are two dilapidated buildings on the property, which is up for sale.
Okay.
Trying to.
Okay, if you'll have a seat, we'll go. You want to do the first motion?
I'll make a motion. I move to find respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
There were 4 violations at this property. The lot clearing has been complied, so I'm just requesting a declaration of violation for the lot clearing.
Okay.
In regards to the lot clearing violation, I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay. What about the rest of it?
Okay, good afternoon, Greg Dixon, Code Inspector with the City of Clearwater. This is my recommendation for case 164-19 at 1100 South Myrtle Avenue. There's still three remaining violations for an abandoned building, exterior surfaces, and roof maintenance. I'm requesting compliance on or before October 23rd, 2019, or a fine of $250 per day per violation if compliance is not met. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance can be met for the abandoned building by having all code violations addressed, have current utilities turned on, and have the building occupied, or by selling the property or have the property demolished. Compliance can be met for exterior surfaces by replacing any defective structural or decorative elements of any building wall and ensure all exterior surfaces are free of mildew, rust, loose material, and faded or peeling paint. Compliance can be met for the roof maintenance by having the roof replaced and made safe, secure, and watertight. This is the property. I believe it's been abandoned for quite some time. The roof's been caved in. Vegetation's taken it back over. The exterior walls are starting to fail, or they've already failed. This is the back of the property. This is a small building that was used, I think, to sell produce or something in front of the other building that you saw, and it's starting to fall apart.
Is this north or south of Bel Air?
South, it's almost to the cemetery down by Lakeview, down that way.
These all were commercial buildings?
Yeah, this commercially zoned property. Here's the property after the compliance date. It's the back of the property. Here's the property yesterday. They have cleaned up some of the vegetation. This used to be all overgrown. They have cleaned that out. They did do a good job on that, but you know, the rest of the buildings, I don't know how much they can do to them.
You know what the problem is with that screen? We can't see those dates. I mean, I can't.
This is yesterday.
Yeah, but we can't read that
Okay.
unless you tell us, you know?
And this was yesterday.
That what we can see.
Okay.
And this was on the 8th of 8/8/2019.
So when did this first come on your radar?
Let me go back to the first picture. 6/11.
6/11 this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she's been very cooperative, right?
I spoke with her. She's the executor of the will.
Oh, okay. So why 250?
Because it's commercial property.
Oh, okay.
How long has it been listed for sale?
I don't know.
Shall we have her
We'll
come
ask
up?
her. That's a good question.
Just a moment.
Okay.
So there is no power, there's no, is this a safety hazard?
I believe so. I think Jason Cantrell's bringing this building for unsafe next month.
Yeah. Are you getting complaints, neighbor complaints?
No, I was down there to get a car removed off the right of way, and I looked across the street and noticed it.
Graveyard's not giving you any complaints?
No.
Halloween's coming up, you know?
Pretty quiet group of neighbors.
Okay, what was her name, do you remember? Okay. If you- Renee? What are your plans for the property should it not sell?
I don't know. Ruthie's been gone she had it for sale before she passed over a year ago. It's been up for sale. It is, at the time, listed with David Kessler is the realtor of Christie's Coastal Properties. And speaking with David the last couple of weeks, he's had several interested parties, but I haven't heard anything back. Our hopes were whomever bought the property would, demolish the building because it's a nice long piece of land, almost an acre. The front little building was rented for 17 years until June 1st. It was a little Mexican restaurant. Ruthie rented it to these people for 17 years.
Ma'am,
The building behind it was her dad's old warehouse because it was a fruit market for many years there. But it's all dilapidated, and I don't have, of course, the funds
that was my
because
question.
her property that she wanted me, we've been best friends since we were 18.
So the estate does not have any money to pay for the demolish?
Right, I borrowed the money from my sister to have it cleared, and then during the past year, family and friends, we've all gotten out and kept it up, the back part, the best we could with weed eaters and pulling, and it is, I called a bush hog company, they wanted $250 an hour. Of course, I'm determined, and so we just pulled in work and have tried to keep it up. But as far as demolition of those two buildings, I can only guess that it would cost thousands of dollars. So my hopes are the same hopes as my best friend Ruthie's were, that someone buy the property like the rain thatch just sold a couple of months ago, and out of Canton, Ohio, people purchased it and plowed it down in the land behind Ruthie's, and they're doing a storage unit. And those are my hopes, the same as Ruthie's.
Renee, is that your name?
Yes.
Can I call you Renee? I understand it. I like the fact that you have it for sale. You seem very honest. And you've just been on the radar since June of this year. And the thing that concerns me, if the city goes a little step further and declares this unsafe, then we got a problem. So what we all have in common here is we're seeking compliance, And as a collective board here, the only thing we can really help you with is time. Would it help you, like the city wants this in compliance by the 23rd of October?
May I request more time?
Certainly. I mean, if we were to help you with time, would that help you?
It would help tremendously.
This Mr. Kessler, he's a real estate agent?
Yes, sir.
So he must know your predicament.
And he does. Absolutely. He knows that I'm.
Yeah. I'm just speaking for myself. The board would have to approve. I mean, if we gave you 60 days or even 90 days, but we've only been on the radar here since June. It's not like this has been going on for 6 months or something. I mean, I personally would be willing to do that.
Except it's an unsafe building.
Not yet, though.
Okay.
That's next month.
Yeah, that's the next step. That's what concerns me. What concerns me is if it does go into being an unsafe, I mean, if somebody was to get hurt in there or something.
I know this doesn't mean anything, just because I grew up from old school obeying do not trespass signs. But we posted, private property, do not trespass all over the place, which doesn't mean anything because of homeless people. The building behind the little, I still call it a fruit market because ever since we were 18, it was her dad's fruit market. But the concrete building behind it, that was her dad's warehouse, is the dilapidated where the cinder blocks, and you can see underneath where homeless people could hang out, and druggies, and it's very dangerous.
Ms. Russell, how long has the property been on the market?
Ruthie passed July, and she had it up for sale a good
14
6 months before she passed.
How many?
It's all total probably been on the market for about a year and a half.
Year and a half, okay.
Um,
And your realtor has not had any
No.
bids on it at all?
He's had people, call and go and look. Ruthie had it listed at 800,000, and Baycare was interested. And then, but they wanted her to come down, and she did, and they didn't bite. And a few other people, but it's all the way down now. Once I got the letters, and I understand. My gosh, if my own child would go exploring and have a block
Right.
ball on them or something, it's down to 290.
Oh, jeez.
So it's gone all the way down within the past month. And
You're actively trying to get it sold, your realtor.
Yes.
That was my point.
And her
You get that taken care of, just raise
outstanding
it.
credit card debt is over $1,000. I mean, $100,000, because she basically lived on her credit cards.
But if it goes into an unsafe, it hasn't yet, but if it goes in that direction, it's going to be even worse.
Exactly. I'm not even, I just know, I have to believe that it's gonna sell
Yeah.
before, if I'm extended the 3 months.
What about the
But
tax?
if
Are
it's-
you be able to, how have you been able to keep up with the taxes on this property?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The taxes, have never gone behind.
Okay, so one thing you may want to look into, I don't know that this is the answer.
I just borrow the money from
Talk
my
to a
sister and my
bank,
son.
talk to a bank and get a loan on the property
You're
and
not
then
gonna
clean it up. Okay, because, and let the property pay for itself. You don't do it personally, you know what I mean?
Give her an extra month.
I mean, are there people that are expecting benefits from the sale of this after her debts are all paid?
I am in her will. I'm the only person.
Okay.
I'm one of the
Okay.
friends.
So it might be one of these things of pay me now or pay me later. The property may sell better if it's cleared, I don't know, but that's one thing you may want to consider is get a loan on the property and get this work done.
Yeah, it does look much better, of course, that it's been cleared again. But the two buildings are my biggest concern. And I
Yeah,
do believe
it's a
that whomever
commercial property.
would purchase the property, which is demolition down.
So
They're not like.
you have a problem there, that's true.
Okay, can I have a
You're
motion?
gonna make a
Yes,
motion?
I'm gonna make a second motion.
Okay.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before. We're giving her an extra 30 days, so that would be November 23rd, 2019.
Oh, I thought you said 90.
No, I got overruled.
I thought you said-
It goes into an unsafe
Yeah.
mode, and we can't really go
But we're
that
still giving
long.
you time. It's better than October 23rd. We're gonna go to November 23rd.
Excellent. Anything.
If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $250 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. So,
Motion
are
carries.
you clear on that? And I wish you well.
I have something in writing, or should I write it?
They'll give it.
Yeah,
to you.
you'll get
They'll
it.
get it. You have 60 days.
So maybe you could talk to, like he said, the banker, Mr. Kessler, or somebody, and
I
let him
know
know.
that I can't get a personal loan myself.
No, on the property, mortgage the property.
You're not gonna loan them.
Put a lien on the property and let it pay for its own
Not the way it
cleanup.
is.
Pretend the lot's a person. Not you,
Wait, I won't have-
it,
I'm sorry.
not you,
She doesn't
it.
understand that.
The property is an entity all to itself.
Yes.
You're a separate person.
Yes.
Property's over here. Let the property pay for itself by going to the bank and getting a loan against
You
it.
can talk to your realtor about that. He'll explain it further.
Well, I just have high hopes that it's gonna sell.
Well, anyway, good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Hopefully, the extra time will help you a little.
Good luck.
Can you do a lot in 60 days? Good luck.
And ma'am, if you make progress, keep Mr. Dixon informed.
It's pretty cheap now, isn't it?
My God, yeah.
Yeah, wait, make
Take a
it,
lot of work to clear it.
Yeah, you gotta clear it, but you get an acre on Myrtle.
still, if they care enough to want to stay here, I'll look again. And they have plenty of money to spend. I just give them a
Okay, case 4.13, item, case 16519. Five respondents, Thomas and Kathy Parks at 1101 North Garden Avenue in violation of code for abandoned building and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Are they here?
I don't think so.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Craig Dixon, Code Inspector with the City of Clearwater. This is my recommendation for case 165-19 for 1101 North Garden Avenue. There's one violation at the property for abandoned building. Request compliance on or before October 23rd, 2019, or a fine of $150 per day per violation if compliance is not met. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the City Attorney's Office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance can be met for the abandoned building by having all code violations addressed, have current utilities turned on, and have the home occupied, or by selling the property or have the property demolished. The utilities have been off at this property since February 2016.
Okay.
Yeah,
it does.
I do have to call pretty often to get the grass cut, and it's also on the agenda for a nuisance abatement for the grass. There's not much wrong with the outside. There is a broken window, but on the inside it looks like they were in the middle of a remodel and then stopped. Oop, that's not got nothing to do with this. I have been in contact with the owners, and there was some health issues, and they assured me that something would be done with the property, but nothing's been done.
Okay,
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
you may.
Second motion, I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before October 23rd, 2019. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 each per day per violation, and it's just one violation.
It's just one, yeah.
For said violation, each that continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Item 4.15, case 16719, Anderson Mitchell at 1781 North Fort Harrison Avenue in violation of code for residential grass parking and roof maintenance, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Are they
These
here?
violations have been corrected, and I'm just seeking a declaration of violation for this property.
Okay.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4.16, case number 16819, fine respondents Diana Atkins at 1510 Betty Lane in violation of code for commercial vehicle, and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
believe this is going to be a declaration.
It is a declaration.
Declaration, okay.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit. In this case, the violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. The respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4.17, case 169-19, fine respondents John A. Okay, here we go. Cor Marianos at 2384 Chaucer Street in repeat violation of code for exterior storage, and issue an order that a daily fine be imposed for each day the repeat violation continues to exist.
Here we come.
I think they were sworn in. They came in after.
Hello,
Hi, will you state your name and address?
I'm Donna Camarianos. I live at 2033 Scotland Drive in Clearwater. John is my husband, and he owns the property on Chaucer Street.
Okay.
We realize this is a
I'm sorry,
repeat
were you
violation.
sworn in?
I'm sorry,
Were you sworn in?
no.
Or you came in after?
Were you all sworn in at the beginning of the meeting? Were you here at the beginning?
Arrived
No.
after we?
We came late because we went to 112 South Osceola.
No, that's okay. We just need to swear you in.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Will you be speaking? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is the entire truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
So what happened is, this is an income property. We have tenants, and this is a repeat violation, and we understand that this is true. My husband's not well, and in the time, about the time the letters were sent, he was in and out of the emergency room. We weren't paying attention as close to the property as we should have. We knew the tenants were supposed to be cleaning things up. When I finally did get the letter and go to the post office and get it, then it was a few days, and I called Daniel. He was good enough to meet me at the property. He told me exactly everything. So, a lot had been done, but there was more things that needed to be done, and we took care of it right there. And it will not happen again.
So it's over.
Okay, all right, if you'll have a seat.
Thank you.
Yeah, we need it for.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is that a declaration
Chairman, should
then?
this be?
It is.
Motion be under repeat violation?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, there was a little bit there to finish, Mike.
And it's a repeat violation. I think it's in the second.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case and has committed a repeat violation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Back at you.
Good afternoon, Daniel. My name is Daniel Kasman, Code Enforcement Inspector for the City of Clearwater. I do have the address is 2382 Chaucer Street, but that's the mailing, it's a duplex. So 2384 is the mailing address, but in our CELA system, there's two different designations for 2382 unit and the 2384 unit.
Okay.
And this repeat violation was attached to a case that was brought before the board in 2018 by Greg Dixon for outdoor storage. And the case was attached to the 2382 unit, so I figured I'd just be consistent there.
Okay.
If you'd like, I could show you the photos of the days that they were in violation, but these were the days I have so far, was 6 days on August 7th, 15th, 20th, 23rd, 26th, and 29th. Decided to go with a fine of $250 for 6 days for a total of $1,500. On the 29th day, met with them. That was the day that they had fixed everything, and I'd gone back a few other days just to make sure that everything had stayed the same, and it has thus far.
Are the tenants still in the?
Yeah, I spoke initially to the tenants 2 weeks before I posted the property, which was on the 7th, with the repeat violation, telling them, you guys, this property was in code board before, could you please clean up?
And they were sincere, right?
The tenants, they said they'd do something, and then they did a little bit, and then they did a little bit, and
In
it just
those
took a
last,
while.
since August, is everything in compliance now?
Yes, now it is compliance. They had some items in the property. Like I said, if you'd like to look at the photos, I could show you.
Let me ask you, the exterior storage was due strictly to the tenants and not due to the property owner? Is that what we know?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
All right. I'll present from the beginning then.
Yeah, the pictures would help, David.
Yeah. For exterior storage, it was a repeat violation for Code Section 3-1502G1 and 3-1502G2. A repeat violation means a violation of a provision of code by a person who has been previously found through a code enforcement board or any other quasi-judicial or judicial process to have violated, or who has admitted violating the same provision within 5 years prior to the violation, notwithstanding the violations occurred at a different location. The notice of repeat violation was posted on August 7th, 2019. It was originally brought to Code Board on November 28th of 2018. In November 28th, 2018, case number 171-18 was brought before the MCEB by Inspector Greg Dixon and was found in violation for Code Section 3-1502G1, 3-502G2. The owner was not present. The board ordered compliance by December 14th, 2018, or a fine of $150 per day. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Inspector Greg Dixon on December 14th, 2018. On July 25th, 2019, I drove to location, observed the property in violation again of Code Section 3-1502G1, 3-1502G2 for outdoor storage / not used for outdoors, making a repeat violation. This was on the 25th. In the carport there's a bunch of tools and toolboxes and various items being kept. Under that code provision, carports are also subject to not being used for storage, meant to be used for cars. So there were items in the carport, tools, a bunch of tire rims being kept on the porch, items being kept on the cage for the AC unit. On the side of the home, which would be the east side, there were a lot of stacks of tires, propane tanks. I talked to the tenants. They cleaned up a little bit, but then brought a stack of tires. They just brought them into the carport. Tire rims are still being stored on the side. This is this 2382 unit. This was the day of the posting on August 7th. August 7th, still storing things inside. Now this is on the other side, the 2384 unit. They're storing some janitor equipment, propane tanks, kitchenware, buckets, random items. Went back on the 20th, a little bit of cleanup was done. Issue on the 2384 side that they had batteries outside, buckets, gas containers. A few items were being kept in the trees. Went back on the 26th, a little bit of cleanup. 29th, I believe this day I met with John and Donna out there, and they said this is the day we're going to get it all cleaned up. And they had me come back later, and it was cleaned up. This is just a picture of some of the items that were being stored in the trees. Oil pan and some boxes and some lumber. I went back on the 6th, everything's looking good. The toys are all right, plants. I allowed the one bucket because they have AC drip that comes down there. Went back on the 20th, everything's still looking good.
Okay.
So you did receive cooperation from the owner?
Yes, they wanted to.
And gradual cooperation?
Yes, gradual cooperation with the tenants.
Okay. So, Madam Chairman, my thing is this, I've been a landlord, and it's not always easy to control your tenants, but at the same time, you have a business, you are conducting a business, you've got to work with them, or you have to get them out. I think $250 may be a little high. I don't know what other people think.
I agree.
I think that's standard, though, for repeat, isn't it?
Well,
I don't think we can go
up to
above
five.
that.
It can go up to 500.
The board can choose any
That's what
amount,
we
they choose
said.
up to $500 per day.
Right.
Up to 5.
I'm thinking of, I would make a motion of 150. This is what they had to face before. But at the same time, I would like to tell those owners that either get new tenants, or if you can't
Stay
maintain
on
it,
top of
get
it.
out of the business, sell it, and let somebody else deal with it.
That sounds reasonable to me.
How about a motion?
Okay. I move to enter an order that a fine of $150 per day be imposed for, was it 6 days? 6 days. The repeat violation existed for a total fine of, what we got?
900.
No, but half was 1,500.
900, thanks. $900 payable within 30 days. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Did you understand?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Appreciate it.
How many days was it we gave them to pay that?
30 days.
30 days.
Yeah, 30.
Thank you, ma'am.
30 days,
I'd like it to be noted into the paper that this board has compassion. You know, it makes me feel good we're here to help the mom and pops, you know?
The board, the minutes reflect that for every meeting.
It does. I'm very proud of this city for what we do, by the way. I mean, there's some cities, and I wouldn't mention their name, not far from here. Whoa. No?
Item 4.18, case one.
One community that the code enforcement officers carry guns. Jeez.
Case 170-19, fine respondents Hercules Mahari, 521 Edenville Avenue, in violation of code for residential grass parking and exterior storage, and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Are they here?
No, it's not going to be here either.
Is that you, ma'am?
No.
Oh, I thought she raised her hand.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay? You're back.
Hello again, Daniel Casman for the City of Clearwater Code Compliance. This is for 521 Edenville Avenue, case number 170-19, for 2 violations for exterior storage and residential grass parking, requesting compliance on or before October 10th of 2019, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violations continue to exist. Asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from recordation date of such liens that the fines and fees were made unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Question, why such a short time, 10 days? Usually we run 30 days.
I've spoken with the homeowner. The outdoor storage case was initially opened in May.
Okay.
But he also had an exterior surface issues, which he did take care of, and the amount of storage in the carport where the exterior storage issue, he needed some time because there was a large stack of concrete cinder blocks taller than me,
Yeah, okay.
and all sorts of other items. And as he complied with other issues with the home, I gave him more and more time for the outdoor storage. I've spoken with him about the outdoor storage. He keeps telling me he's going to do it, and then it's just the last bit he won't do.
Sounds reasonable.
And also, I'd like to add for the record, in addition to what he's telling us, I know this person that came to me when I was on that street with my neighbor, and I gave him a code book about these same problems, so he knew about it.
So there was 2 violations, but he's corrected 1.
He hasn't corrected either one of them. He still does the grass parking too. He has several tenants in the home, a bunch of working guys, and they park their vehicles.
Is this a rental property?
What's that?
Is this a rental property?
Yes, it is a rental
The
property.
exterior hasn't been complied.
He fixed the exterior surface issue, but that was a whole separate issue. This is just for outdoor storage and grass parking.
Okay.
His tenants need to park properly, and the items in the carport need to be properly stored.
And you feel that the $150 is going to motivate this guy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Neither do I.
Per violation, if you have an alternative.
Oh, I understand.
That whole
Thank you.
street's that way, it's just,
There's a few issues, we're working on them.
yeah, I know you are, I'm glad to see
Okay.
it, yeah.
So have we made the first motion?
No,
We
need a
did.
first.
We
Mike
did it first, didn't we?
Yes. He did it.
I'll do a second. I move to enter an order.
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before October 10th, 2019. If respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. 4.19, this case was continued from August 28, 2019. Case 14219, fine respondents Beverly Sydow at 1913 Coles Road in violation of code for exterior storage and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Finally got somebody.
Madam Chair, may we remove this case from the new business agenda and place it on the nuisance abatement agenda? Because I think the remedy the inspector is going to request is to abate the nuisance.
Abate the property instead of.
Pardon me? Okay.
Initially, this is a nuisance case. It violates a nuisance, and you can either go
Right.
for fines or you could go for order entering onto the property. And instead of asking for fines, what the remedy that the inspector is going to request is to abate the nuisance instead of ask for fines.
So you want to make
what
this 7.26, you want to make this 7.26?
Yes, exactly.
How do you get that number?
And the last one was 2.5.
Oh, no, but that's,
No, we have a 7.
we have a 2.6.
We have a, you're right.
We do?
Yeah, next page.
Right. Can't we just bring it in under its
Mine
case
says
number?
2.5 is the
Right?
last one.
I got 2.5.
We
Oh,
bring
here.
it.
I got it,
Okay.
got it.
See where I am?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I'm with you too.
Good.
Wait,
7.6.
everybody needs only one person at a time. We're under sunshine rules.
Right.
It's,
I have no objection.
Make it 726.
we can do that.
And we can either hear the case now, or you can wait until, since the gentle lady
Hear the
is
case
here,
now if you
Right.
want.
probably makes sense to just do it.
Make it 726.
I make a motion that we hear this case now as a convenience to the lady.
Okay,
Second.
okay.
You're
Okay,
up.
right?
You're up.
That's a technicality, that's all. You have to call for a vote.
Hmm?
You have to call for a vote. We made motions.
Do we need a motion to move it?
We did.
No,
No?
you can,
Okay.
no, you're gonna deal with it in the second part.
But deal with it
But
now?
we're going
You
to
can deal with it now if you so choose.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Beverly, do you admit or deny the allegations?
Yes, but I've been working, and Mr. Judd will tell you, I've been working very hard to clean it up. And I've got a little more to go since he came, and I actually found out what the problems are. I've been correcting those as well. And I see that you had on there maybe, what, the 13th of October, you said? Yeah.
If I could just get you to state your name.
Oh, Beverly Sydow.
Beverly, was that a yes on the admit?
Yes.
Okay.
So we need it first.
No, this is.
Wait a minute.
Oh, no, this is under nuisance.
I'm not sure how to do that. Okay, if you'll have a seat.
Uncomplied.
Mr. Jewett, what are you requesting?
I'm requesting compliance on or before October 13th. As soon as the slides come up.
2 weeks? 3 weeks.
So good afternoon, Board. Inspector Jewett, I am requesting for case number 142-19, 1913 Coles, compliance on or before October 13th, 2019. We're asking the Board to authorize the following: for the Code Compliance Division to take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property, to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge violator with the reasonable costs, which will become a lien on the property. Initially, we had looked at fines, but we felt nuisance abatement would be the best option for this property. It has been an ongoing issue. It was set to come before the board, I believe towards the beginning of the year, but the owner sold the property, and the new owner, she is the new owner of the property, so we had to start
over again.
Okay.
Okay.
And then to do pictures or,
Oh, yeah.
and then we're asking the board to, compliance can be met for outdoor storage by removing all trash, debris, construction material, any inoperable vehicles, vehicle parts, clothing, paint, interior furniture, and any items not intended for outdoor use. This is the front of the property from May 16th. You can see furniture, various pieces and parts of various items, some fencing material. Going to the back of the property, this is from May 9th. Most of the pictures are from the front of the property. It wasn't until last month that I was able to actually enter the back of the property and see what it looked like. For the back of the property, this is from the back fence. You can see various items stacked up along I'm standing on the property behind 1913 and taking shots from the fence line. Again, various items, debris.
So let me ask you a question.
Yep.
So it started earlier this year.
Right.
Then the property was sold.
Yes.
So has there been an accumulation or?
It's kind of, it ebbs and flows. Now, she has, when I went onto the property initially and she actually allowed me to go in the back, there was a lot of items. I'd like to show you here real quick. There were a lot of items in the back that she had. I'm just trying to get to those backyard shots. So there is a trailer, various items. This is from 8/15. Again, it comes and flows. The front of the property where I usually see all the violations, it'll be cleared for a while, then it'll come back. It'll be cleared and come back. And when I got to the back of the property, I did explain all the items back there that were in violation and that needed to be removed. I did explain that, we would be seeking a nuisance abatement. I came back at a later date. She had cleaned up a lot of the property. There was still a little bit left to go. But as of last week, I haven't been able to meet up with her and get onto the back of the property to see what she's doing. But she is making an attempt versus a lot of my other folks with this kind of situation that just sit down.
Thank you.
Okay. Nuisance abatement plan.
I'd like to make a motion on that.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, I move to enter an order finding the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondent to correct the violations within 18 days from today or 17 days from tomorrow of the board's written order or by October the 13th, I believe it.
Yeah.
13th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with a reasonable cost, which will become a lien on the property. If cost, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay.
Good luck, Beverly.
Pardon me?
He said good luck.
Okay. Item 4.20, continued from July 24th. Case 13219, find respondents Jeffrey Litton at 303 Cedar Street in violation of code for permits and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
Madam Chair, this case got continued to allow the gentleman to pull a permit. I think it was for a fence. I spoke with the building official, and we think a permit may have been pulled, but we're not sure if it's been pulled or if it's actually been pulled or just applied for. So what the city would ask is just to continue this case to October. If if the violation has been corrected, we'll just withdraw the case.
Okay, it's fine.
I make a motion.
I don't think we need a motion.
No,
do we?
You don't need a motion.
You wanted it?
Let's
Maybe you wanted to make a
Okay.
motion.
but we're not talking for it.
Make a motion not to make a motion.
Nobody's seconding your motion.
No.
Okay. 4.21, case 19419, find respondents Paul A. Gallup at 442 Mandalay Avenue in violation of code for permits and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Cantrell.
We are requesting a continuance on this one to next month.
Till
the next month?
Next month, yes.
So why?
Okay.
42.
Want a motion? I just did.
Okay. Case 4.22, find respondents Michael Plunkett at 205 South San Remo Avenue in violation of code for unsafe building and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Will you state your name and address for the record, please?
Michael Plunkett, 205 South San Remo Avenue, Clearwater.
Do you admit or deny the allegations?
Truthfully, I'm confused by all the paperwork I've had in this case. I want to cooperate, but I also want to know what I'm admitting or denying.
Well, we should take that as a denial.
Okay. Okay, if you'll have a seat, Mr. Plunkett, we'll talk to the inspector. Okay?
Good afternoon, Building Inspector Jason Cantrell, presenting case 195-19 for the property at 205 South San Remo. Here we have one violation of an unsafe structure, citing sections 3-1502A for property maintenance requirements and 3-1503B2 for public nuisance. Notices of violation were sent on 11/19/2015, 5/9/2016, 6/14/2016, 1/31/2017, 7/23/2018. That one was sent by myself, and again on August 7th, 2019. Compliance dates for this were from the date of receipt of notice, 7 days to obtain a permit, and 20 subsequent days to complete the work. Certified mail receipt was received for one of those notices on August 6, 2018, which was also the notice of hearing for today. Affidavits of posting were done on 11/23/2015, and then another one was done this month, September 3rd, 2019. I apologize, the certified mail receipt I received was for a previous notice. It was not for today's hearing. The posting was for today's. Okay, on our notices that we send out for unsafe structures, we give two options for, three, for the owner to come into compliance. They can bring the property into compliance. They can appeal to this board here, MCEB, or to the Flood Board of Adjustments and Appeals. Mr. Plunkett chose to do the appeal to the Board of Adjustment and Appeals. And he felt, he heard that case was heard before that board on September 6, 2018. His request to that board was desire time to evacuate the house and consent to permit the city to demolish the house. That board's findings were to uphold the unsafe declaration and order the structure repaired or demolished in 30 days, thus allowing that time for cleaning of belongings from the structure. And now we, due to the request of legal, we are bringing it before this board as well. This is an overview of where the property is at. It is right near the split of Cleveland and Gulf to Bay off of San Remo that runs north and south. This photo was from February 26, 2015. The inspector here, as you can see, it is a wood framed house. There's a lot of termite damage over to the right above the steps. And then around the back, this is where the inspector found the unsafe condition. The condition in question is this back wall here. You can see he's removed some of the siding has deteriorated to the point where he's replaced it with plywood.
Inspector, what was the date? What's the date on those?
The date on that is February 26, 2015.
2015?
That inspector went back to the property on November 10th, 2015. That same wall has now detached from the rest of the structure, and that corner is sitting on the ground. Another photo from that same date, November 2015, just showing a better view of the wall sitting on the ground. You could see straight into the house there. And this photo jumps up to February 6, 2018. So 3 years have gone by and that wall is still sitting on the ground and the home is open to the elements.
That's ridiculous.
There's another photo of from the same day. And any questions?
Do you have anything recent?
No, not since 2018. I have not been back. It's in the back of the property, and unless I'm invited back there, I can't.
So
So
what
it's
you're
a year
doing here is just catching up and cleaning up this issue?
Yes.
Well, it's unsafe.
Yes.
Is there power on this house?
No.
No.
That last check there was not. No.
Is it owned by the same people?
Yes.
Are you living at this house
Yes, ma'am.
without power?
How about water? Without water?
No.
No water.
If you could just come up to the podium so we can get you on the microphone. Thank you.
What do you want to do?
Ask him how he takes a shower. Oh,
I'm up at the YMCA taking showers quite often.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
what do you want to lose?
I'll make a first motion, unsafe buildings. Okay. I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I also have a question. Why is this not before us as a repeat?
Well, we'll look at the remedy that.
I mean, this was unsafe before, right? In 2015, 2016, 2017,
It's still unsafe.
and here we are, 2019.
Just to clarify, well, Inspector, would you mind if I ask? So when you, the action that the city took against Mr. Plunkett was an action before the Board of Building Flood Adjustment and Appeals, correct?
Correct.
And that's a separate board, obviously, than the code board,
Yes.
correct? And does Chapter 47 of the Clearwater Land Development Code provides that a violator has the right to appeal the decision of the building official or his delegee, which would be you, to that flood board, correct?
Correct.
But the flood board, does the flood board have any power to order anything other than to affirm the decision of the building inspector?
No.
So the flood board didn't say, enter an order back in September of 2018 fining Mr. Plunkett?
Fining? No.
Fining, no. And they also didn't have the power to enter an order that allowed the city to go onto the property to correct the violations, including demolition, correct?
Correct.
And is that why we're here today?
All right, thank you for that. That clarifies that. This is the first time before us, and you did see that. I gotta tell you, as a board member, I'm in my 8th year here. That's the worst property I've seen in 8 years, with somebody living in it. It just stuns me that anyway, I'm amazed.
What's your recommendation?
For compliance to be met for the unsafe structure, to repair or replace any areas where deterioration or damage exists to meet current Florida building codes. Complete demolition of the structure is also an option for compliance, and all work must be properly permitted.
He hasn't done it.
The city's recommendation for case 195-19, we are requesting compliance on or before October 25th, 2019, or a fine of $150 per day that the violation continues to exist. Additionally, we are asking the board to authorize the city of Clearwater to enter onto the property to correct the violations by any means necessary and any reasonable cost to be applied as liens against the property. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Madam Chairman, I have a question for Mr. Plunkett. Mr. Plunkett, I've seen you over the Y, and I'm really kind of upset that you're having to go through this. I had no idea. Is there not any other place for you to go, to move to? Because if you have no utilities, you have no sewage. Is there other options for you?
Here in Clearwater?
Yes, sir. You have family here or friends? No, you're by yourself.
Family in Rhode Island.
I just don't think you should have to live this way. And I'd like to see you under better conditions, helpfully, than having to go over to the Y and take your showers and live in the darkness and no sewage. I'm a sensitive man. I don't like to see a man your age have to go through this.
Okay, well, can I have a motion?
It's not that hard.
I know. It's called surviving.
Are you a veteran?
No, sir.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I've taken survival courses and I'm an accomplished outdoorsman, mountaineering, other things. And
Okay.
There are other agencies in this city that would be willing to help you and to find another location in your circumstances. Be worth you checking into them, and maybe talking with one of the inspectors might can guide you towards those agencies.
He already has.
Okay.
Yeah, Salvation Army.
Yeah.
That's what I was just thinking too.
United Appeal
That's
would be
exactly what I
another
was
one
thinking,
too.
Salvation
A very good one. I can highly recommend them.
Everybody's Tabernacle.
There's people that's willing to help you if you'll just let them.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Yeah, sad part of Mr. Plunkett is we have to deal with your property, and it is an unsafe property, and so we have to move ahead with,
Our job.
we understand your situation, and we don't do this with any malice.
Oh, no.
I hope you understand that. I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move to enter an order requiring respondent to correct a violation on or before October 25th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day for each day the violation continues to exist, and the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property, to bring the property into compliance and charge the respondent with all costs, which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So
Okay,
what that means, I hope you understand, is that you have to rectify this situation by October 25th, or the city's going to do it for you. Okay?
I will start looking for another place to live.
well. Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Hopefully that gives you the impetus to go find yourself some
That gives
help.
you
You
time,
need to be
yeah.
helped, and there's great people in the city who will help you.
That gives you plenty of time to seek that help. And we wish you the best of luck in
We do
doing
that
that.
indeed.
Okay.
Come back and give us good news sometime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4.23, case 215-19. Fine respondents Ayad Elian at 1391 Gulf to Bay Boulevard in violation of code for unsafe building, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. No?
Nobody.
Okay.
Okay. Building Inspector Jason Cantrell for City of Clearwater, presenting the case 215-19.
Excuse me, sir. I can make a first motion.
First motion.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Okay. No, sorry.
No worries, I got ahead of myself. This is the property at 1391 Gulf to Bay. Here we cited one violation for unsafe structure for sections 3-1502A for property maintenance requirements, and 3-1503B2 for public nuisance. Notice of violation was sent on June 18th, 2019. The compliance date from the from the date of receipt of notice, 7 days to obtain a permit and 20 subsequent days to complete the work. And an affidavit of posting was done here on August 7th, 2019. This property is also right near the Gulf to Bay Cleveland split. This photo might be more recognizable. It's the building with that blue-green awning there. It was a little corner market that is now closed.
Yeah.
I have not actually been into this building. These photos were sent in by the complainant, and we are basing it off of these photos. It appears that they have put up some sort of structural support to try to hold those rafters up, or joists up. I'm not sure. Rafters. Here's another photo showing the rafters, a little bit more deterioration on them. Again, they have the supports going across to try to hold that up. And then this photo's not really relevant to unsafe, but it does show the deterioration of the interior of the property. That's all I have for that one.
You have a
Is this the building
recommendation?
that used to be a produce place?
Across the street from that.
Across the street?
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They put some money into that not long ago, fixing the outside of, I think.
Mhm.
And they, when you come around the bend there,
What is it now?
it's unsafe, I guess.
It's unsafe, okay.
What's your
I don't know if there's somebody
recommendation?
in there or
What is
not.
it? It's unsafe. Too bad.
That used to be a realty office years and years and years ago.
I'm not familiar where that is.
For compliance to be met for this unsafe structure, repair or replace any areas where deterioration or damage exists to meet current Florida building codes. Complete demolition of the structure is also an option for compliance, and all work must be properly permitted. Recommendation for case 215-19, the city is requesting compliance on or before October 25th, 2019, or a fine of $150 per day that the violation continues to exist. Additionally, we are asking the board to authorize the city of Clearwater to enter onto the property to correct the violations by any means necessary, and any reasonable costs to be applied as liens against the property. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Before you vote, we have just a minute, Mike.
Inspector, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Hey, have you heard from the owner?
No, I haven't.
Nothing? Did he sign your thing?
No, he didn't.
And you posted, right?
Yes, I did post it. As you're looking at the building, is my, good. Right there where my mouse is pointing to is the corner store.
Right.
And that's where the deterioration is, inside that store. Right here where my mouse is pointing is 1393. That is listed as the address of the owner. So all the mail's going to there. Really, all we could do is post it.
This is commercial, how come you're not going 250?
It's just what I'm directed to ask for.
Oh,
You're welcome to change it.
He does
yeah.
what
Yeah, no,
he's
I know.
told.
I just, when they aggravate you out there, raise it. Yeah, if
Well, seriously.
they're okay, your call,
Fair across the board, that's what we
Yeah,
gotta do.
exactly.
Compassion.
Yes.
They're still discussing something.
Thank you, Board. And this may come as a surprise to the inspector, and I hadn't caught it either, but on the notice of violation, the site address says, I think, 1391
Yes, it does.
Gulf to Bay. but it's 1383 on the
Uh-oh.
You know, we had that in another case here too, where it was a duplex and the violation was in one side.
Well, I believe that I told you 1393. I believe 1383 is the one, is the unit on the end of that. As I was showing them, this, right where my mouse is circling, that's the 1383.
So 1383 is the correct address?
That's the address, that's the mailing address,
That's a mailing and ownership address.
mailing and ownership.
For the whole complex?
Right.
And we're doing the whole complex as an unsafe building, correct?
Well, it's just the
Just that
unit on the left as far as we know.
I'm not an attorney, but I know that the language in here, like if they came in with representation, they'd probably pull you out on that. I'm just saying.
What's the tax bill address?
I might ask the air attorneys if they would do that.
Yeah. So this is like a multiplex, like 3 units, 4 units.
I think it's only 2, but yeah.
So say it's 2. The whole building is unsafe, right? So does it really matter?
Well, let me.
That's above my
May
head.
I
So when-
inquire?
Sure.
So, Inspector, how did you get the address of, I think it's of 1391 Gulf to Bay?
It's on the door.
It's on the what?
It's on the door.
So what's the record at the courthouse say?
I mean, it could be a situation where the owner just chose to use the one location as his property and subdivide it for rental purposes. I think the board could go ahead on this, and if it becomes an issue, then we'll have to bring it back to the board in the future. But I think the board could go ahead based on the information that you've received. I would say that the owner would have a rough time saying they weren't put on notice of the violation.
1391.
And we've
Yeah,
seen
for
the violation
1391.
too. We know it's there.
Okay.
Are the other addresses that are part of that building covered by that?
Yes, the
All the
address,
addresses?
the other address covers that part of the building. Covers the building, part of the building, yes.
1391.
That's the mailing address that looks like it was in the property appraisers. Normally, however, there's, additional sub-addresses for
Right.
each unit. That doesn't appear to be in the way that
We'll do it for a second.
the information
Yeah.
came out, so.
Okay, go.
Second motion? As long as there's no other question. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before October 25th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day for each day the violation, it's just one violation, right?
Yes.
Continues to exist, and the city may take all responsible actions, including entry onto the property, to bring the property into compliance and charge the respondent with all costs which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Oh, you're still up. All right. Unfinished business. Do we have anyone here for these? Item 5.1, continued from July 24th, case 16118, accept the affidavits of noncompliance for respondents Amelia and Emmanuel Macarolas at 1536 Palmetto Street for unsafe building. Are they here? Oh, here he is. Yes, sir. Have you been sworn in?
Sworn in, he came in late.
Somebody sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony?
The last time that I was in here, we were discussing, because I was going to have a
Sorry, what is your name, please?
buyer for the house,
What is your name, please?
Emmanuel Peter McCrillis.
Thank you.
The last time I was in here, we were talking about a buyer in the house, and I had lined one up for $140,000. The individual decided to back out on the house and offer me a little bit less, about $45,000 for the house. So I took the initiative because I had a program that I was involved in, Rebuild Florida Better Again. They're dragging their feet. So I went out and got a hard lender. And I just got a release of a lien or release of mortgage on my house on the 12th.
This house anymore.
And I went down to the building department. I was supposed to close on the loan yesterday. We just did a survey. The issue that was underlining, the mortgage company never released the first mortgage that was on the house from 2002. But this mortgage company that was Wells Fargo is now, and I'm in communication right now, I've been talking to the attorney. He has to give me a payoff statement on the first mortgage, and then the loan will come out. So I'm not wanting to use the program Rebuild Florida Better Again. So I'm taking the initiative to do the work myself on the house. I need another 60 days or 30 days. I'll come in again, and I'll show you the progress. I got doing the work to the house. Just got to get that loan.
But do you have the permit?
Yeah, the permit's ready to go. I just have to pick it up.
It's ready to go, and all we're doing here is asking for the affidavit of noncompliance. The property owner is working towards getting the structure fixed. So we're just asking for the acceptance of the affidavit of noncompliance. There are no fines with this case.
So just give me a little more time.
And this moves it along.
Give me another 30 days. Everything will start. I'll pick up the building permit and start doing the demolition to the house. I just ended up with another clause in the project because they never released the mortgage.
As of right now, there are no deadlines.
Oh, okay.
So you cannot extend it 30, 60, 90.
Okay.
We just say he's non-compliant,
He is
let
not
him
in
go, and
compliance.
you'll work it out.
Correct.
Okay.
That would help me.
Okay.
I move to accept the affidavit of non-compliance and issue an order that states that fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed. The city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oops, was there a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Good luck to you.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I get the building permit, like the work starts, I'm not going to be in non-compliance anymore, am I?
Until the structure is repaired, until the permit is closed out, you're not in compliance.
I figure once the demolition is done, 6 to 8 weeks, and the house should be done.
Contact
Good
the
luck.
inspectors when that happens now.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay. Item 5.2, case 18318, accept the affidavits of noncompliance for respondents Gilbert G. Janelli at 2634 Woodridge Avenue for unsafe building. Mr. Janelli here?
He is here.
What?
You saved my life once in a car accident.
Gee.
I may not have anything to say.
We didn't ask for any fines in this case, and he does have an active permit, and the partial demolition is proceeding, so.
Okay.
So what are you looking for, just a
Just to
non-compliance?
accept the affidavit of noncompliance.
Move to accept.
I move to accept the affidavit of non-compliance and issue an order that states that fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed. The city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item 5.3, case 108-19, accept the affidavits of noncompliance for respondents Bruno 1 Inc. at 2083 Envoy Court for unsafe building. Is he here? I remember this one from last time. Okay,
Move to accept.
accept?
Look for a motion.
Yes,
Yeah, move to accept.
I move to accept the affidavits of compliance as listed.
non-compliance,
Oh,
yep.
non-compliant. Oh, I'm sorry. I take that back. Affidavits of non-compliance. I move to accept the affidavit of non-compliance and issue an order that states if fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. I don't know what the other board, nuisance abatement lien filings.
Madam Chair, it doesn't look like anyone's here for any of those cases, so but before you do your one motion, the city would move to have 7.6, 7.13, 7.20, 7.22, and 7.23 be moved in as a declaration of violation. And just so we understand what the code allows, it was an ordinance that was drafted by the Codes Division and myself that passed last December. It gives this board the authority to issue 3 basic kinds of orders for nuisance abatements. The first one is the general one you do, where they have 5 days to comply. The second one would be for a declaration of violation, where the violation, just like your normal declarations of violations, was corrected after compliance date but before the hearing. And then the third one, which you haven't, I don't think you've seen yet, is a repeat violation. And if you would be just a normal repeat violator, so if your grass overgrows again in the next 5 years, the city staff can bring them back before you, and you can enter a repeat order which allows the city to go onto the property to abate and maintain the nuisance, even if the nuisance is even if the violation is corrected within those 5 days you normally give them. The rationale behind that is there could be some people who game the system. They do it before the hearing, or they do it during that 5-day period, and then they let their grass grow again. Well, under the first order that you issue, if they correct the violation within those 5 days, the violation goes away. The city doesn't have that authority to go onto the property. But if they become a repeat violator and you enter that second order, then that order essentially runs with the land, and the city can go onto the property and cut the grass essentially whenever it's overgrown again. And so you really only see the case twice at most. So again, for 7.16, 7.13, 7.20, 7.22, and 7.23, the city would simply ask for a declaration of violation on those cases.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
I want to do 2 motions.
Do you want to do the declaration ones first? That might be easier, and then you can refer to the other ones.
Can we do those all in one lump?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So that'd be nuisance of abatement liens, right?
You can do the nuisance abatement liens, since there's no one here, on the ones that Mike hasn't asked for, you could do those as one lump sum. On the ones he's asked for, you could do those as one lump sum, but you just have to do your motion differently.
Okay, we can do that.
What's the language of that? What page? Is that
For what
7?
Mike asked, is that what you're talking about?
Is that
For what?
Page 7.
Omit it, the motion for, I'm going to omit what he said. And I'm going
The
to
ones that he said, you're really, on those, you're making a motion seeking a declaration in those.
Oh,
So
okay.
you could, if you make your motion, that should be sufficient for the language that we need.
So declaration of violation for nuisance abatement. And
That's for Mike's.
that's for Mike, and that's what I'm gonna do,
Okay.
okay? And that's for 7.6, I wanna get it right, it's 7.13,
7.22.
7.20,
22 and 23.
7.22, and 7.23, okay?
Got 'em.
I move to find the respondents was in violation of code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may impose a daily fine and order the city to take all reasonable actions to abate and maintain the nuisance, including entry onto the property, and charge the respondent with those costs, fines, and fees which will become a lien on the property.
Is that right?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now the others.
The others, we can lump in one sum. That would be nuisance abatement liens.
Right.
So what's the board's, within days of the board's written order or by, okay.
5 days from the date.
What did we say, 5?
5 days.
5 days?
of the order?
5 days.
I move to enter, this is for the remaining, I move to enter an order finding the respondents in violation of code and requiring the respondents to correct the violations within 5 days of the board's written order. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with a reasonable cost which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such a lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien. Liens, plural.
Wow, good job.
Good.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
The board is adjourned.
Yeah.
Boy, this one different than the last one.
Good job, man.
Say no.
I gotta catch
Very good what you're doing.
Board.
Oh, you learn a lot there.
Yeah, you
See a
do.
lot, learn a lot.
We're the board.
What's your